Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make a recipe which is quite dear to my family. It's called mistake cake. There's a bit of history behind it. My dad and my grandfather were both gamekeepers, and my grandmother used to make something called mistake cake for them. It was a combination of sponge cake and flapjack, and it's because one day she mixed up the two recipes by accident. She'd made a flapjack and a sponge cake, and she combined the ingredients together, and this is the result that you'll get. And my dad used to absolutely go on about it all the time. He always loved it, so I'm going to show you how to do it. You'll need, for the sponge part to begin with, you'll need 225 grams of unsalted softened butter, 4 large free-range eggs, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and they need to be level teaspoons, 225 grams or 8 ounces of self-raising flour, and 225 grams of granulated sugar. And the recipe comes from Mary Berry, the sponge cake part. I've always used this version, and all you basically do is put all these ingredients into a bowl and mix them. And if you were just making a Victoria sandwich, this is perfect. You can just combine all these ingredients. There's no need to cream the butter and sugar or anything like that, and put it into two 9-inch cake pans and bake it, and it's a perfect Victoria sandwich. It works every time. So what I'll do is put all these ingredients into this bowl and whisk them up, and then I'll be back to show you the result. So basically all you have to do is just mix all those ingredients, like I said, together in a bowl, and use an electric hand mixer to do it, to make it easier, just for about 2 minutes, and you get this perfect cake batter. So there's absolutely no need to use a cake mix or anything like that if you're going to make a Victoria sandwich, because this is perfect cake mixture. So you need to set this aside now, and I'll show you how to make the flapjack mixture, which is going to go into it. In order to make the flapjack mixture, in a large saucepan you'll need to put in 225 grams of salted butter, 225 grams of sugar, and I like to use dark and light brown sugar to give it a bit of a mixture, and about 75 grams of golden syrup, which is probably going to be about 3 big tablespoons. I'll let you know exactly how much. And then you melt these together, the 3 ingredients, and then you add in your oats, which I'll come to next. So add in the butter, the sugar and the syrup, and then take it to the stove and melt it all together, and I'll be back to show you what to do next. So once you've melted down your butter, and I put 3 tablespoons of syrup in this, and your 2 combinations of sugar, then you need to add in 275 grams of quick cooking oats. I'll do that now and combine, and then you'll see what it looks like after that. So this is what the mixture looks like with the oats combined into it. It's not as stiff as you would think. And now what you need to do is line a 13 by 9 by 2 baking dish or a roasting pan. Line it with parchment paper. You need to ensure that your oven's preheated to 150 degrees Celsius or 300 degrees Fahrenheit, because this is going to bake pretty slowly, and it should bake for about 40 minutes, but I'll let you know exactly how long at the end. You need to, in the baking dish which is lined, you need to then put this mixture into the base of the dish, and I'll show you what that looks like when I've done that. So once the flapjack mixture is done and combined in the pan, place it into your 13 by 9 by 2 baking dish, which has been lined with some baking parchment, in the base of the baking pan. And then what you need to do is start getting the mixture that you've made, the sponge mixture, and dropping it on top of the flapjack mixture, and I'll be back to show you that when I've done it. So basically cover the flapjack mixture with the sponge mixture. What I did was get a spoon and drop small amounts all over the top, so that I knew that I could cover it well, and then smoothed it out so I didn't combine the sponge mixture with the flapjack mixture. And this bakes in the oven now, and I will let you know exactly how long it baked. My mistake cake is fresh out of the oven. It baked for 40 minutes. Your oven might be different than mine, but I did leave this in for 40 minutes, and I inserted a knife into the middle of it and it came out clean, so I know that it's done. What you need to do is you need to leave it to completely cool in this pan so that the flapjack mixture on the base sets up, and then we're going to invert the cake afterwards so that the flapjack sits on the top. So we'll be back to do that in a couple of hours when this is cooled. The cake is done, my mistake cake. As you can see, I've tipped the cake upside down and cut it into slices, and it took 40 minutes in total to bake and then 2 hours to cool. I cooled it down in the fridge in order for the flapjack to harden up on the top, but it's a lovely combination of sponge with a flapjack topping. My dad and my granddad used to really enjoy this for elevenses, they used to call it. They used to have a flask of coffee and a piece of mistake cake. Hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.